Alpha Strikers. This is your friendly neighborhood Shea bringing you your second issue of X Teams. Yes, X Teams is where I put together a team that would fit in a 300 to 400 point casual to local meta environment. Now, I'm just taking over for Professor Erks, who does a great job at putting these teams together. So I'm just a stand-in, a temporary headmaster, and I'm trying to put these teams together so you can have some fun and maybe even be inspired to take some pieces and create it into more of a competitive team. Now, let's look at this week's team. This comes from the X-Men's Xavier school. I looked at it and I decided, hey, in a sealed environment, I actually ran a version of this team and saw how powerful it was and decided, hey, if I did a little tweaks, what could I come up with? And what I did is a Charlie's Angels team. Yes, a Charlie's Angels team, which has Charles Xavier as a key linchpin to this team. Now he adds his three angels, which are Storm, Kitty Pryde, and Mora McTaggart. I hope I'm saying that right. I never know. And also a special guest star of all new Wolverine. So let's get to it and find out how this team can operate. Okay, let's look at the team overall. I have listed the figures. They add up to exactly 300 points. So what strengths does this team bring? Well, it's an X-Men theme team, which gives you a +5 to map roll, 5 theme team prob controls. All very important. But since you have headmasters on there, 4 headmasters, you're going to get 4 free X-Men Xavier School student ID cards and 4 actions per round. Now, you also have multiple leaderships and perplexities, which can come into a huge, huge factor on this team. Now, the challenges are there's no outwit protection, no improved targeting, except with a couple of special powers. And really, there's not a lot of high printed damage throughout this entire team. However, I think it can be fun and can be worked around. Those things can be worked around. Looking at our primary attacker, let's look at all new Wolverine. Now, what does she bring? Well, she brings Perplex, Indomitable. She has a charge with blades, which is always a great combo. She is a Pog generator. So she can generate a Pog that is almost so hard to heal. And then we have potential free heal with the ability to roll a dice to heal her one click. And she does have regeneration at the end of her dial. And if we look at the Pog she generates, Jonathan, the big thing about him is the first time he'd be KO'd, he's not. So he's a Pog that takes 2 shots to kill. And he's not that different. He is got a charge, blades, great attack, low defense, but that's okay. He's got Battle Fear, so he's not going to be able to mind control or carry. He's standard size character, so that brings some benefits to it. So he's going to be one that can help us deal some damage. Now, what challenges do we have? Well, there's very limited outwit protection on this piece. She has no range, and there's low defense from range, as combat reflexes is her main defensive power, and she has middle attack is kind of low. So we're going to have to work around that. Keep that in mind as we play her. Now, moving on to our secondary attacker, and I call it a secondary attacker because there's a thing about Professor X that he is not going to be one that can actually deal your damage, but he's going to be one that can get your team in position and help your team deal the damage. Now, his strengths are leadership, perplex. He's got a high attack. That 12 starting attack's awesome. We're using him on his 75-point dial. He has a long range, 8 with dual targets. That's pretty incredible. And he has an outwit. He's got a special mind control, which allows him, if he uses mind control as a range action, allows him to target everybody, regardless of range. And he has a good defense with defend. Now, he also has the Indomitable, and he brings you your free student ID card also. Now, once again, we don't have any outwit protection other than the outwit we currently have. He is very limited in his mobility, only 6 movement, and he doesn't have a move and attack. Now, he also does 0 damage. And based on the new rules, you're not going to be able to bump that up either. So he is going to be one that's going to help us position the other team in order for us to be successful. Moving on to the support. This is where this helps this team kind of come together. We're going to look at our first big support piece, which will be Storm. Now, Storm has some very important uses on this team. Number one, she's a taxi. She has a special ability that allows her to carry 3 other characters along and have the X-Men keyword. We're going to need that. She also has leadership perplex. She has opening slot telekinesis. She also comes with a free student ID card. She has range attack mid-dial with an RCE. She is a flyer, so it's going to help us carry everybody and help with our movement. Challenges, her movement is not the greatest with a 9 starting out. Her defense is lower at the 17 in. She's only 5 clicks deep, and she has very low damage until you get to RC, and even then, attack value is just okay. So looking at this piece, she does come with an X-Men team ability. So that could be another benefit. And I meant to say Charles Xavier also does. So that's going to maybe synergize off each other. Moving on to our next support piece, this will be Kitty Pryde. Now, Kitty Pryde brings a couple of things that we can use as tricks that will help us once we get to our map. Now, her strengths are a leadership perplex. She also has a special power which allows friendly characters to move through walls adjacent to Kitty Pryde, and that will be something we will use to our advantage. She comes with precision strike with a 10 attack, which isn't bad. She starts with an 18 defense with super senses, which is kind of helpful. And she has a free student ID card also. She also has the X-Men team ability, which could come into play with help with healing. Now, once again, challenges, not a high movement, only 8, but she does have phasing teleport. She does not have a moving attack, which is going to be a common theme throughout most of our pieces. She's only 5 clicks deep again, and her damage potential is low until you get to the very end with her exploit weakness. Our final support piece will be Maura McTaggart. Now, she's going to be like the others. She's only 25 points, but she does bring the X-Men team ability. She does have leadership perplex, which we will be using to our biggest advantage. She has a sidestep. She has a second click outwit. She's very low cost with that 25 points. That X-Men team ability, once again, she could be a healing battery, and she comes with a free student ID card. Now, what's her challenges? Once again, no move and attack. She is only 3 clicks deep. Her attack value is very low, so you're going to have to use perplexes to get her up. Limited damage and 0 range. So looking at that team, where's our damage going to come from? And it'll have to be from our primary attacker. Now, let's look at one last thing. Looking at the support cards that these characters will bring, we have 4 ID cards we get to add. And this is where you can kind of customize this team. What IDs, student IDs, do you want to add to this team? I chose these 4 for various reasons. I added a Skids card for her defend and barrier. I think that could be important in running this team. I added a Sprite card. Sprite is a fun piece that allows charge and ability to put action tokens on people she moves through. And she could be a fun piece to kind of bring some extra little damage. Sync, put that on there for his ability to copy a standard power and use it. And being able to switch between maybe choosing Blaze or in cap, depending on how you need them. Those 3 cards can be brought in by the majority of the team. Now, the last card that I have, which I thought was just be funny, can only be brought in by one member of your team, but it is the all-new Wolverine card. I think it'd be hilarious for the all-new Wolverine to bring in a copy of herself, which then allows a charge and a generation of another Jonathan Pog, annoying your opponent even more with 2 Pogs that are hard to kill, nasty, and they don't want to have to deal with them. So looking at these, they're very versatile. One can produce a bystander, and they have passive effects, which are very good for your team. Challenges, we're going to have limited damage coming from these cards. We only got 1 card that's going to have the ability maybe to knock a figure out, and that 1 card can only be brought in by 1 figure. So looking at this team, we're going to have to maximize some stuff within map choice. Looking at the map choice, the map I chose, I went back and forth. I looked at Muir Island. The problem became on Muir Island. It did not create an advantage for Kitty Pryde to be able to have people phase through walls. So I went to the one map that's pure indoor, has lots of walls, and it's legal, and that would be The Office. Now, The Office looks like a fun map. It's going to have several strengths that will help this team. Now, strengths are a limited line of fire. Now, you might say, well, that's not good for this team with an 8 range Professor X, but I would argue since his mind control does not require line of fire, his range isn't as limited when he's using his mind control. And therefore, since the rest of our team doesn't have great range or move and attack, limiting those lines of sight will actually help protect our team. Now, we're also looking at a symmetrical map. This map doesn't matter which side your opponent picks. It's pretty much the same on either side, which then allows us to have very standard ways in which we move out and not having to adjust depending on which side of the map we end up on. Now, it has natural kill zones, these little kill boxes, these little choke points that will allow you to create situations for your team to take advantage of. There are tight corridors, meaning that teams will have to move in formations. It's what you want with Professor X is a formation team that allows him to mind control several pieces. It's indoors, meaning that lines of fire are going to be blocked very easily. You can't get elevation change on it. Also, come on, it's a premium map. I love the way they feel. I love the way they roll out. They don't have the creases. Figures fit on them very nicely and don't slip. And this map really works with Professor X's special powers. Challenges. Hypersonic teams love this map. They're going to be able to run and hide. So positioning could be a key against certain teams that have the hypersonic ability to come at you from high mobility. And some figures actually ignore the terrain of walls. Those figures are going to need to be handled very quickly and directly, and your team is just going to have to find ways in which to maximize that. However, to me, this seems like a fun map to play this team on. It's going to be a great one. Bring it to your venue and see how it all goes. So we're going to go to the battle arena. We're going to go to go through a scenario or two just to show you how this team can kind of operate. Welcome to the battle arena where we test this team out and see how it works on the map that we were going with. Now on this battle arena, we could even call it the danger room because we're talking about the X-Men. You can see that we won map with a +5 bonus to our roll. Now looking at this map, we positioned up with our 3 main primary and support characters located around Storm for transportation. We have more off to the side and we'll go over that in a second. I put 3 objects into our kill zone, all light, so that all new Wolverine can use them. So let's get to how this team can kind of operate. First thing you should always do is practice good habits. One good habit will be, even in turn 1, to practice going through all your leaderships. Now I'm going to roll Mora. She does not get it. Charles Xavier. He gets it. There's 1. Do not get it with Storm. And Kitty Pryde does not get it. So I wouldn't be able to remove but 1 token. I don't have any tokens, but I've done good practice. Now you can see my team has already got a crippled Storm on it. Like most people, mine broke with the ankle getting it out. So I'm going to put her off to the side. I will also notice that this will represent the Jonathan token. When he is generated, this will be his counter. So first thing I'm going to do is kind of move my team out into position. I'm going to take a token and count out where I'm going to go. So first person I'm going to move is Storm, carrying my other 3 characters. So we're going to move her out 6 because her beginning movement is 9, and she'll take -1 for each one of these characters, so she can only move 6. And that's all we need. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put her there. Now let's operate where we're going to put everybody. We'll put Kitty Pryde near a wall so she can use her power. Charles Xavier in the middle so he can maximize his range, his ability to call in things. And we're going to we're going to move Mora. She's going to sidestep 2. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She'll go right beside Storm. Now I still have perplexes and I'm going to use those to kind of up defenses. We'll just do a little conga chain. So we'll start with Charles Xavier going to Kitty Pryde, up her defense 1. Kitty Pryde will perplex up all new Wolverine. All new Wolverine will perplex up Storm. Storm will perplex up Mora. And there I have my conga chain. Those guys going all around, improving everybody's defense to pretty much a 19 with Charles Xavier's defense. Now, awesome. We're sitting here. We got good position. We have good map position. Now, my opponent is just 1 figure, Rock Slide, just to kind of give you an idea. But if a team had done their math and decided 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, this is where Charles Xavier could get to with his range for mind control. So instead of going there, they actually move up here to give Rockslide maximum potential and to keep his special power in place by being next to a wall, giving him impervious. Now, that up in position, how would we handle this? Well, the first thing we can do is go around and do our leaderships. We would start with Mora. She's trying to use her leadership and she gets it. So she'll remove a token from Storm. Now I'm going to go around and finish it out, but I'm not going to remove any more leadership tokens, and I'll go over the reason why in 1 second. Charles Xavier does not hit it. Kitty Pryde does not hit it. Storm does not hit it. But it looks like a 1 in 4 chance is very solid on this team to always hit a leadership. You hope you hit it with the right guy, but that's impressive to be able to remove those tokens. Now, looking at this, we're sitting here looking like we really don't have a good option. We might have to move again, and with Storm cleared, we could. However, we do have a couple of options. Number one option that we're going to use is we're going to take Mora, well, we're going to take Storm's Perplex and up Charles Xavier's range to a 9. Meaning that now his special power actually can reach Rockslide. Can reach all the way across the board and actually has a range of everything back he can actually hit with mind control. Leaving only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows where he can't get to it. Now, he's got a 12 on a 17. Probably not bad odds. We do have some theme team props, but let's go ahead and roll it. Got it. Got a 6. So we have mind control Rockslide. So what are we going to do with him? We're going to 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to move him here, which he still has his impervious power, but we're actually okay with that. Now, I will have to give Mr. Xavier a token. I should have done it first, but there. He has done his job. First attack hit. Now, I do have 4 actions, so with my next action, I'm going to actually turn willpower off for Mora, and she's going to move through characters and move through the wall that Kitty's adjacent to and plop herself down and hinder it. Now, I should have counted it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's in there. And we click her. She ends on her outwit. Now, with this outwit, now we have a little power. We're going to outwit the defensive power on Mr. Rockslide. So now he no longer has his besides wall impervious power. The next thing we're going to do is perplex down his defense. We want him to be even weaker now at a 16 defense. Why do you do that? Is because that will be permanently a -1 to his defense through this turn, and that's really what I want. And I'm not done. So I still have some perplexes out there. What can I do with them? Well, I'm going to take Storm, and she is going to perplex up the attack on all-new Wolverine, because I really want to make sure I hit this attack. This could be an attack that I really want to make sure it just kind of goes through. And then I will also use Kitty Pryde to perplex up the damage on all-new Wolverine. So now all-new Wolverine is sitting at a 3 damage, 12 attack. And she will actually perplex up her own speed to a 9. So now we're looking at 9, 12, 3. 9 movement, 12 attack, 3 damage. And she will charge. She will charge with this new power being 5, and she can go through the adjacent wall. So she'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, pick up the object, 5. Now, so she's looking at 12 attack on a 16. So you need to roll a 4 to do 4 quick damage to Rockslide. So let's see what she can do. Ooh, an 11. Awesome. Now, if you did roll doubles, you don't want to do knockback, which I don't think you can since he has charge, but just a reminder. Now we have placed these objects here. Object goes away, he will take 4 damage. Oh, sitting on his special power again, which is still outwitted. He's got a 15 defense, which is now a 14 with the perplex. Next thing we're gonna do is we will use our free action, which we've only done 3 actions right now. We use our free action to put out a Jonathan pop. Now Jonathan's going to be sitting there, and what he will do is actually charge using picking up the object, picking up the other object, and going after Rock Slide. Now that gives Jonathan a 3 damage. He's got a 10 attack. We're looking at a 15, so he needs to roll a 5 to actually do 3 damage to Rock Slide. Oh, and he rolled a 4. Ooh. As our 4th action, that's a little unfortunate. However, we're still good. We can still finish this piece off. If we had hit, that would have just finished Rock Slide off. He would have been done. We will have to try and survive a 4 hit, which we should be in pretty good shape with a 19 defense, and he's only sitting on a 10 attack. He can't heal since we've outwitted his special power, and that's kind of the way the team works. Now, I could have used a theme team prob or something like that to maybe make that attack stick. So that's kind of the way the team works. This becomes your kill box. It should be fun. You're going to get different pieces out, and it should be an amazing time. Now, I wish I would have rolled that 5, but I thought it was pretty much an easy. Actually, hold on. No, I only had to roll a 4. So he would have killed. Man, I need to pay attention. His -1 would have gave him a 14 defense. He'd have been out. So that kind of shows you how versatile this team is.
Thank you for watching issue 2 of X Teams. Please take a moment to comment or subscribe below. We always welcome any feedback. Let us know how you liked the video, anything you saw that you might change, or another team that you might run. And as you leave, always remember, strike first and strike hard. Thank you. Have a good night.